All right, we're recording. Okay, guys, this is Helen McFadden, a wonderful diamond ambassador, and she lives in Reno, Nevada, and she helped us a lot. When I was in California, we did a couple events together, and I'm so grateful for all of her help. Um, so I'm sure she'll be putting on, do you have anything in Sacramento planned anytime soon again, or
I actually have a launch party, and you know how it was going to be tonight? Are you
yes.
ready for this? After all this, what we went through yesterday, we rescheduled for the 12th of September. I was like, I'm not even going to tell Kristen. It's just, of course, But, no, and I need to because I've got a little bit of activity with her and then a couple other things happening. So I'll let you know. You're still in the Plexus Sacramento group, right?
Yes. Yeah. And if you guys aren't in the Plexus Sacramento group, let us know and we'll get you added. But I'm grateful. Amanda and Kate and I are grateful to have Helen share with you guys a little bit of her journey and some things to hopefully motivate you in your Plexus journey. I know some of you have been with us for a couple years and some of you are brand new. So Helen's great with all of it. And I'll just hand it over to you, Helen.
Awesome. So time frame about 30 minutes or?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. And I'm super excited about this team. I message Kristen every now and then going, okay, how's that diamond looking? Because she's a diamond. And I knew that the minute I met her. And you all are a diamond team. And so I am cheering all of you on. And let's just get this baby wrapped up, right? It's a huge deal. And like Zig Ziglar says, we get what we want when we help enough other people get what they want. So Kristen going diamond is a reflection of you all, earning leaders retreat, ranking up, getting, just really building in your confidence and helping your dreams come true. So just know that's what's so special about network marketing is that we all grow together and anybody can become whatever they choose to be. But you never ever want to give up on that dream and you never ever want to give up. I'll just share my really quick story. Is that okay, Kristen, before I go into a little bit of training? Okay, I had been in network marketing for 16 years prior to Plexus, and I was in a party-driven inventory, very cumbersome business that did not have a comp plan like Plexus. And after 16 years of feeling like, especially the last 5 years of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, I was truly burnt out in the industry because of the structure of our compensation plan. When you have a party-driven business, you spend a lot of weeknights and weekends away from your family. And when, here I'm doing that business so I can have time freedom and financial freedom, all the things that we strive for, but I feel like I missed out on so much of my boys' childhood or, just tucking them in at night, being gone. It was such a constant struggle. So that's kind of how I viewed network marketing. I didn't really understand. Plus, we didn't have social media way back then. And so, just the whole Plexus model is so appealing. Who wouldn't want that, where you can really, truly build your empire, your business in the nooks and crannies. And so I gave up on my dream after 16 years, and it was very painful. It was a huge process to get out of that business. I did not have my 4-year college degree. It was very intimidating to go back into the workforce. I was taking care of my aging parents, both who had Alzheimer's, which was very stressful. My mom was living with me at the time. We were trying to figure out what to do with my dad. So it was just a really kind of a hectic time, but I feel like it was all divine because there was about a 3-year window from the time I left that company before I was introduced to Plexus. And in that 3 years, I had a lot of time to reflect and realize, no, I did not want to go back and actually work for somebody for the rest of my life. I did like being an entrepreneur, but I had no idea what that looked like because it certainly wasn't going to be network marketing. Plus, I didn't want to go back to college. I was a Weight Watcher leader, which I loved. And I found God showed me in that 3-year window when I was a leader, just how rewarding being in the health industry is. You know, most people, women especially, are struggling for that healthy weight or just an overall health feeling that they're at their optimal health. So I got to see that firsthand as a leader, and I saw the tears and just the stress, and that, you know, when you weigh people and just how much that weighs heavy on people. And I felt like so horrible, because it's like, you know, we are all perfect, right? God made us all perfect, but when you really are up against sugar and more sedentary lifestyles that, you know, technology is given, there's just obesity is on the rise. We all know that. So I was given this education of how hard truly it is. I myself struggling, especially with that last 10-pound swing all the time. You know, as a person all my life who struggled with their weight, I just thought, at what point can we just be set free and really like be healthy and live our lives instead of always looking for that like someday. But I didn't understand anything about Candida. And, you know, I, as a leader, we were just told to like sell the 2-point bars, if you're familiar with the program. And, you know, it was all just kind of like Band-Aids on a situation where why people were struggling so much. And I believed in the program and all that. So I just kind of give you all that perspective. So when I joined Plexus and heard about Plexus, I had two perspectives that really were working in my favor when I joined. One was that you could actually join a company for $34.95 with no inventory, which meant no debt, which meant you could pretty much be on profit level immediately, and that everybody was your market versus just women, being in that I was in a cosmetic company. And then the other perspective was knowing truly how many people were suffering in not feeling healthy or beautiful or all those things that we what our mind tells us because it's so dictated by the scale. And I hated that, but it is kind of just the market and the nature and the demographic and everything that we kind of live with in our life, thanks to the media and all that. So when I joined and heard about Plexus, I tell you this part of my story so you really understand that, you know, we got to always have perspective on what we're offering people. Because to me, when I ran across Sheila Medina's name on Facebook, and that's how I got introduced to it, and we had a long conversation, and she told me that she had, you know, helped so many people get off of medications, and then of course there was the whole income part. It was like, to me, it was then almost 6 years ago, because this was August of 2012. This was late August. It was actually right around Labor Day weekend, which we're coming up on. So my join date was September 4th. And, you know, she just pretty much told me, Helen, if you don't build this business, somebody else will. She earned 6 figures her first year. Now, this is back before me, obviously, with like just a handful of products. And so I just, you know, to me, I think this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And I still get passionate, excited, as you'll be able to tell at this call, about what we have been given, that we've been blessed to be given to be the messengers of these life-changing products, this gift to give others. And until we really understand that perspective and continue to live with that perspective daily, you will never really truly find the joy in this business. And I know it's important to have our why. We do this for our family. I was really motivated to retire my husband, all those things. But to me, I still get excited just sharing our products and our opportunity. That drives me daily. And if that doesn't drive you daily, I challenge you to go back to every single customer message, ambassador message, if you have a team, that they have shared how much Plexus has changed their life. Y'all, people are struggling. Most people, you don't have to look very far to your left or right and go anywhere, the Walmart, the airport, wherever you are out in public, to realize how many people really need what we have, like in every way, not just the products. They need our One Plexus culture. They need our sideline friendships, our whole company model of just working toward being the best you that you can become and cheering for others. You know, we live in kind of our plexus bubble, but the good news is we can invite anybody into that bubble. And if that doesn't get you excited daily, like it did for me on day one and continues to, then you need to have what I call a checkup from the neck up. Check that little attitude and really try to understand what you have been given the gift to give to others, okay? So that was kind of my mindset from the beginning. Holy smokes, $34.95. People can join with a $99 or $199 welcome pack. Here's what happened for me. I joined, I called my best friend, Sonia Dudley, which many of you know, I'm sure, and told her, kind of teased her for 2 days and said, you're doing this with me. I know you haven't heard of it, because if you had, I would have heard about the pink drink, because we were always like, we weren't into the fad diets, but we would definitely keep up on all that kind of stuff and not really do them. But the pink drink was like a kind of a cool thing. So she joins with me 5 minutes later, little whippersnapper. The next day, like, recruits her mom, her sister, her coworker. So she goes silver. We joined on a Tuesday. The following Friday, I got a check for $100. Now that is huge, you guys, huge. It's huge to my husband, because nobody was more upset when I said, I'm going to join Plexus, than him. Because every time to this day that we make a mortgage payment on this house that I'm sitting in, there's a little bit of debt from that other business. Now, perspective again, I had 8 company cars. I was a director, you know, in the top 2% of that company. And we were always in debt, had to go through 2 different refinances to pay off debt. I could lay my head down at night, are you kidding me, in a Plexus business, knowing that I'm offering a business where you can get paid the following week after joining without going into debt. Those were the thoughts that went through my head. And the same with Sonia, because that's how I met her. We were in that other business together. So realize that $100 is a big deal. Like, we were pretty much paycheck to paycheck at that point, because I was taking care of my parents, had just little part-time jobs, and my husband was a flight attendant. And that was a really, really stressful job, and I couldn't wait to retire him early. And that was my driver. And I just unabashedly, the minute after, because we joined without even trying the pink drink. So I'm going to talk to you about sharing before you have a testimony, because that's like, we never thought much about that. I mean, I trusted Sheila. Sheila told me about Ronnie Cuevas. She told me about people getting off their diabetic medication. She told me about herself kicking her Diet Coke habit. So there were so many things that I just thought, well, it has a 60-day money-back guarantee. Until I have my own testimony, I'm just going to start sharing others. Well, thankfully, within 7 days, Sonia, who had really, really bad fibromyalgia, started to tell me, oh my gosh, Helen, like, I can get off the couch and, like, my knees don't hurt anymore. I can actually get out of bed in the morning without taking a bunch of my medication. And that was a huge deal, because she was missing work. And, you know, I knew about when the cold fronts came through in Tennessee, how much that would just take her down. And so here we are. Oh my gosh, I can start sharing her testimony. So that's just really, we locked arms from the beginning, and we told each other, we are going to Maui. It wasn't a cocky thing. It wasn't like, we're so great. It was like, if Sheila can do it, and we've had a little bit of training in our 16 years, she was in 17 years, about leadership and just, you know, sharing, not selling, sharing, helping others, messaging people, just saying, hey, I would love your opinion of these products that are pretty new to the West Coast. I still say that. Y'all can say that. Whatever town you live in, Plexus is still new. I promise you, if you went around and knocked on every single door in your town and you asked everybody in your neighborhood, have you ever heard Plexus? Have you heard of Plexus? I think that the last I heard, the national average was like 14% that have heard of it, but that doesn't even mean they're taking it. So we, you know, if you feel like this, you've missed the wave, or me and Kristen just got lucky, or whatever, and Kate, no, oh my goodness, heck no. There are so many people that literally woke up this morning and had a prayer. It was, Lord, help me with my health, and Lord, help me with our finances. And we have the answer, and they don't have a clue about Plexus. So if that doesn't get you excited, and here's my prayer to this day, Lord, help me with those, to find those people. Help me not to just run around, be desperate, ask people, get annoyed, get upset, get personally offended, get all that stuff. No, just help me to be the messenger and put those people in my path that are desperate to feel better, because honestly, the feel better part has a lot to do with the stress. They're not necessarily staying awake all night thinking, I got to lose these last 10 pounds. They're thinking, how am I going to pay for my kids' college? How am I going to ever retire? How am I going to pay off this medical bill? I mean, most people have debt. Most people, we have to remember who we are dealing with. And this little plexus bubble that we can invite them into is worth, I always say you could add many, many zeros after that $34.95. It's worth it, right? So our perspective when we were new was just that. I would text my friends, hey, I just lost a couple pounds in the last couple weeks on this product. I'd love your opinion. I've got a 3-day trial. Great. One of those was Carrie Spratley, whose husband ended up losing 24 pounds in like less than 2 months. People at his work, he was like a lieutenant. They're like, are you like on chemo? Like, are you sick? What's going on? And so then that was enough to get her excited because she could never lose weight having Hashimoto's. So she had the whole Hashimoto's thyroid testimony. What did I do? I didn't have Hashimoto's thyroid. I didn't really have a testimony ever, y'all. To this day, my testimony is at 4 o'clock. I no longer craved my Starbucks drink, no longer wanted a nap. And, I feel really good 31 days a month, 30 days a month, not like 7 days where I want to kill somebody. Like that's the extent of my testimony. And I was able to build a diamond business. So you better believe I would just borrow everybody's testimony. Now, here's what I will say too. And Sheila told me this. Sheila was so great to have at the very beginning of my business. She would put so many things in perspective because we're all human. And even after being in network marketing for 16 years prior to Plexus, I still, you just hate to hear the word no. And the second person I ever shared after Sonia was this gal who was actually a director of mine in my other business, and she had gotten out of the company as well. She'd always really struggled with her weight and had many, many, many health issues. So you know what she told me after I gave her the 3-day trial? And I didn't give everybody a 3-day trial. We were selling them back then. I didn't have any, I couldn't just afford to give away 3-day trials. But I would like sell them at wholesale. But to my closest family and friends, I would give them and just say, I want your opinion. She took one drink or one day. She gave the next 2 days to her mom, and her mom said, Helen is selling a pink drink that helps you lose weight. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, her mom was like a mom to me. Like I used to stay at her house and we would do skincare classes up in Quincy, California. And I was like, what? Well, here's the great part. This is why you never give up. And Sheila gave me that confidence early on that said, Helen, if you don't build it, someone else will. And my thought was, you know what? This is so amazing. Sooner or later, all these people are going to come around. Well, sure enough, my friend ended up becoming a Ruby ambassador, and her mom is an ambassador too. So y'all, there is blessings in longevity and just being so confident in what you have to offer that you just have to realize, like, people will come around. 6 years in, I have to tell you guys about my latest ambassador. This is funny. So in my other business, one of the reasons I struggled so much was I had a really, really competitive upline. Like not the kind that was like, oh, Helen, you're doing so good. I'm so smart to clap for you because I'm making a lot of money from you. Instead, she was catty. It was like, oh, you're going to beat me this month. Like it was the craziest thing. Like, I'm like, seriously? Like I have 8 cars. 2 of them were pink Cadillacs. Now y'all know that company, what it was. I figured y'all figured out anyway. Like I was in the court of sales. Like you made more money from me than any other one of your level ones. And you're still going to be like all icky with me. And when I left, she told everybody I was a Cancer and don't get near Helen. I was not supposed to ever leave. So you want to talk about like, you just do it. And I figured out a way to be successful without her. So and y'all have Kristen and Kate and everybody. So thank God, right? But you never use that as an excuse. But it wore me down. She was difficult. So she has a daughter-in-law who was one of my sideline directors. And she got out about a year before me. And we stayed in touch. And I never burned any bridges. Except, of course, with my upline, who for whatever reason never liked me. And I made her like, a buttload of money, whatever. And, I just was so like, I just left gracefully. I put in my 16 years. Hello, we're all free to make a choice. And, I still had a lot of friends in that business. Well, her daughter-in-law watched me for almost 6 years. It was a post about anxiety that got her attention. Crazy. I copied Jessica Heffley. She's got a great post. Just copied and pasted it one day. I thought this is a good post. I haven't posted about anxiety in a while. She messaged me, does it really help with that? She ends up joining. Oh my gosh, like I'm like seriously like having like, hot like anxiety over this because her mother-in-law is going to die if she hasn't already found out. She blocked me. We were never even Facebook friends. But one of my level ones was messaging her going, oh my gosh, have you heard about what Helen's making? She's so successful, and she couldn't handle it. Isn't it so funny? People are so crazy, I tell you. It's like, can we all just clap for each other? I mean, there's so many lessons of goodness in that, right? I mean, we just, like, there's enough success for everybody. So here's my next thing I want to transition to. We never, ever, ever want to compare. Are you kidding? Sonia Dudley, like, could you imagine if I was like that with her? Everyone loves her, just makes the best videos. If I chose to be all, she's more popular in Plexus than me, or she's starting to make more money than me, or whatever the case might be, oh my gosh, can we all just grow up and be so happy for everybody and laugh all the way to the bank? If they're in your downline, even better, right? That's what we got to do. We got to put our blinders on. That was a huge lesson I learned early on, because you want to talk about being in another company that was cosmetics, and it was all like people were just super, I don't want to say fake. I don't want to ever put that company down. Please no, I'm so grateful for that company. But it was just like so much makeup and this and who's like cuter and hotter and all that. And I learned early on, like, I will make myself insane if I start looking around, because there will always be somebody prettier. There will always be somebody smarter. There will definitely be a lot more people that are way better at public speaking than me, and all the insecurities that I felt. And I just thought, if I could just focus on being the best me that God created, because God gave me gifts. God gave you all gifts. You're all in this business to share those gifts. So if you haven't tapped into Strength Finders and any kind of self development book that really talks, and you can really figure out what makes you tick, what makes you excited. Like, I'm a lover of people. I love to encourage. That's why I love being a Weight Watcher leader. I mean, are you kidding? As someone who struggled with weight all their life, we'd give out ribbons. They lost 1/4 pound. I was so happy to give stickers and ribbons and all that stuff. It's like, go girl. And that becoming a cheerleader for me and being a cheerleader, like, fills my cup. Some people are way better at graphics and systems, and that's what's so awesome about what we do, is that you can tap into your strengths, and then when you get really, really smart, you start to realize that all these people that are around you, your sidelines, your team members, your customers, whoever it is in your life, have strengths that you don't have, and that you glean from them and you use. Like Jessica Heffley's post. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't have that words or the testimony or whatever she was sharing. I copied that. It got me an ambassador. So, like, we got to just realize, like, what a tribe that we have in Plexus. But we first got to get good here. We first got to get really okay with who we are, because how can we ever develop people and really pour into people and love on people, which is our job as leaders in Plexus. I don't care if you have one ambassador, if you have a team of 100, 200, 1,000, it doesn't matter. We got to love people and encourage people. And if we're not okay in here and in here, our head and our heart, we're not working those in sync, especially our heart, just like where our intentions are, and truly unconditionally loving people and not forcing people to do things and not making people feel guilty if they don't do things or place that order. I so believe in attraction marketing. I would much rather people say, gosh, that Helen, I wonder why she's so successful. What does she do? Well, if they spend a day with me, they're definitely not going to see me messaging people, making them feel bad if they didn't do something maybe they said they were going to do. There's always a reason, like we're all fighting a battle that we just don't know, and we have to extend grace all the time. It's hard, y'all, sometimes. It's really hard, because some days I don't love people like I love people most of the days. But that's why we got to be okay here and here, so that we can just rise above, get better, not bitter, and all that. So, just know that you all have those gifts. You all have things about you that are special and unique. And because of this business that you're in, you can really make them the best part of you and give them away. And so don't ever compare yourself. Don't ever look for signs that, oh, it didn't happen. Maybe it's not meant to be. I never understand that, because I feel like, oh my gosh, like the fact that we're even in this company and we're all blessed to be in Plexus, that's a gift in itself. And instead of like looking at as a sign, or maybe like somebody that you feel like you're angry with or whatever, like, okay, this person's in my life or this situation's happening. This is when you know you have real good emotional maturity, is like, okay, how can I learn from this? Instead of feeling upset about it and losing the joy in your business. We've got to intentionally, purposefully find the joy. And I go back to how I started this. The joy is always going to be in sharing. No, not everybody's going to take the bait and run with it and take the Plexus. And, we know that, it's such a numbers deal, and that you've got to really talk to a lot of people to find the people that actually will see this for what it is, like you do. But in the process, know that the more seeds you're planting, a lot of those people that say no or quit taking the products, they will come around. We have a saying in this house, sooner or later, they all come around. And after 6 years, they come back around. I have a level 1 who's had an ambassador join 4 times now. 4th time's a charm. I guess the 3rd didn't work out too well. And she's excited and growing her business after 4 times. Is it worth it for my level 1 to stick it out and keep sharing? Absolutely. We got to meet people where they're at. Everyone's got a different situation, different story. They're not all ready for your goal like you are, but the more you just be and do, you're going to have. Okay. So, what else could I share? Oh, I was going to say too about something about what Sheila said in the beginning, just about like sharing, I remember she told me, these were kind of some of the fun things I learned from her in the very beginning, was like we'd have some events. Like I flew out to Tennessee and let's see, I joined in September, went out in November. So after a couple months, Sonia and I, like even as much presentations as we had done in the other business, health was this was so intimidating to us. We'd never done health before, not like, putting mascara on. It's like real basic. This was talking about products and, it's just a whole other level. Health is it's so that's why it's rewarding, right? Because it's like, if you don't have your health, you don't have your quality of life. And so we would watch Sheila, and oh my gosh, she was so funny. Like people would come up to her after an event and they'd like have that really deep line, and they just like want to question, well, what exactly is in that slim? And I don't know that I like the flavor, like just like really kind of crazy things. And Sheila's like the most red personality you'll ever meet. And she basically in so many ways would say, she didn't actually like say this word for word, but it was like, this was her attitude. Kindly step out of the way so I can get to the 10,000 people who are dying for my product. And she taught us that attitude early on, and we still have that to this day. It's like, if you want to, you're never going to make everybody happy, and there's going to always be people who will question every single ingredient. You know what? They're just looking for something. Next, we got to have abundance mentality. Next, not like get all hung up on why one person is upset about our ingredients or whatever. The other thing that she shared with me was like the whole testimony. I don't think we share enough about diabetic testimonies and how much the slim really into this, hunger control, everything really does help with the glucose metabolism. And she'd be like, Helen, why would you, if your neighbor has diabetes or lupus or whatever it is, any kind of autoimmune, why would you wait until you've lost your 5 pounds before you'd ever share? Remember, the product has a 60-day money-back guarantee. So that's why credibility matters. I think when people don't want to share before they have a testimony, they're insecure about their own credibility. And so I've never been that way. And I'm the first one to say, like at an event, if somebody asked me like a super intimidating question, I'd be like, oh my God, to this day, again, almost 6 years, I'll never know everything. I don't want to know everything. I don't want to be a health coach, a nurse, a whatever. I'll just be like, you know what, that is a great question. Thankfully, there's tons of people that I know in Plexus that are way smarter than me. I'm going to find out your answer and I'm going to get back with you tomorrow by noon. Does that work? I still say that. And then they're like, oh my gosh, if she can be a diamond, heck yeah, I can be a diamond. A lot of that is just, I show my team what an airhead I can be, or I'm just real. Y'all, we just got to be real. We don't have to be perfect and know-it-alls and have letters behind our name. We can just be Plexus ambassadors that are learning and growing forward and getting better every single day. I don't get it, hear my heart. I'm not going to get up there and act like a total idiot, although maybe some people might think so. But I can be professional, but I can also be I want to dumb it down so that people can go, well, I could do this. I could actually do this in the nooks and crannies of my day and pay off my medical bill. We want to always be portraying that as selling the dream, being intentional, but not always so that there's always that balance, people that will join networking groups just to meet people. That's okay. But if people find out about that, if you're doing it all the time, then you become, that's how you can lose your credibility. So I think there's always that balance that you want to be intentional, but not always on, if that makes sense. I have joined Orange Theory 2 years ago, and I was just telling my husband this morning, it's kind of crazy. I don't really wear a lot of Plexus. I'll have Plexus water bottles. A couple times I'll wear tanks, but that's my hour that I just go and want to kill myself basically half the time. But it's my hour to just sweat and just stress relief, mental. It's awesome for me because I get, I'm so busy throughout the day. And so I haven't gone there to really network. Do you know what I'm saying? If somebody asks me, of course I'm going to share about it, but I don't sit there and try to always talk. I can't talk during the workout. I'm dying half the time. But before, after, I'll chit chat with people. 2 years now. Finally now, some of the people, they're friending me on Facebook, or we're getting to have relationships. And I was saying, do you know, when they start seeing my posts and they see I'm going to Hawaii, or they see that I'm successful in this company, I have a company car, all this kind of stuff, they're going to be that much more going, oh my gosh, I've been talking to her for 2 years and I didn't even know this. I like her. She's not just after me. And this is and I don't expect everybody to wait 2 years, but to kind of see what I'm saying, there's ways that you can market without being so always Plexus, Plexus, Plexus. And your post actually should outnumber, your personal life should outnumber your Plexus posts, in my opinion, 2 to 1, because the more you post, then they're just gonna, I never want to turn people off, and I know I have, but I always want people to know, first and foremost, my family's more important than Plexus. My life, with my balance, my friends is way more important. I'm just blessed with this great opportunity. It's a huge part of my life, but it's not my identity. I'm Helen before I'm a diamond. And I really want people to know that, and know me. And then they're going to be that much more blown away, because there's been a lot of people who have kind of tainted that for us. Network marketing, we are kind of swim upstream sometimes with that, because there's been people who do it wrong. And so coming from it for 16 years and being so worried, I don't want to lose friends. I'm kind of probably a little bit more oversensitive than others, but it works for me, and it can work for you too if that's your concern. But I never would hold back from sharing. If I know somebody has a health issue, you better believe I'm going to open my mouth. So it's just really having good discernment. If that's a gift of yours, know that that'll serve you really well in this business, because you really want to be able to reach out. I'll never forget, last summer we were on a trip to Michigan, and we were talking to this guy at this college, and he was telling us about his illness. And toward the end of the conversation, I said, well, I wouldn't be a good person if I didn't at least share with you about some products that I think could help you. And he goes, you're just now telling me? We've been talking for an hour. I said, well, I wanted to hear I wanted to get to know you, and those are the kind of things that can really help your credibility as well. I don't even know how I'm doing on time, so let me know. Kristen, is there anything, do you want me to open it up for questions, or?
Yeah, I think we can definitely, if anyone has questions, you can either type them in the chat or let us know, just unmute yourself. But I just want to say I had chills when you were talking about waiting to share, because that's what Amanda and Kate and I say, we want you guys to share right away, because I know for me personally, if I didn't get that $100 check between my first order and my second order, I probably wouldn't have been able to order my second month of Plexus. And that's what we want for everyone that joins us. That's our goal for everyone, is to at least get that $100 bonus, and that's sharing with 3 people. So I loved how you said use my testimony, Kate's testimony, Amanda's testimony, and that you still don't have a humongous, amazing like fibro testimony and you're a diamond, you know? So that was probably one of my favorite things. So,
well, you think about like, it's okay to join this for the business. Like, that's why I've always said, like, you don't have to be sick to be successful in Plexus. Like, that's ludicrous.
right.
I mean, I joined for the business. I didn't even taste the pink drink. I had enough of a conversation with Sheila to realize that I just needed to start sharing these products with people who needed them, which is pretty much everybody. I mean, I needed them even though I wasn't sick. I was tired. My sugar was off and I was super, moody a lot. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I needed it, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's going to get the masses. Like Carrie, my thyroid gal, Carrie Spratley, I mean, her testimony, and you better believe I bring her to every event. We do events together and her share. And you just, we all are in this together. We all help each other. I had the business testimony or sense to, help her. So we all can bring our strengths to this. We don't have to be like, oh, I got to make sure they work. I mean, people won't, I don't know. I will never understand that logic because
and a lot of people don't believe that we have a great 60-day money back guarantee. When you tell people that, they're like, oh yeah, but I have to like pack everything back up and send it back and go through a month of waiting to get a refund. No, it's really simple, like to get your money back. Like it's amazingly simple. We do have a couple questions. Amber says, I would love some tips on motivating my team to grow their own teams. And Christy says, I would love to hear what it sounds like when you talk to someone about the business. Maybe we can put
okay. Sure. So tips on motivating my team to grow. Okay. So have you had the conversation with them? Like, do they really know what, is available to them? I think sometimes we can take for granted, like we just think people know, but I like to, when I have my coaching calls with my level one, and you can just set up calls with your level ones and just say, I'd love to just, spend 10 minutes just talking to you a little bit about, I want to really know your why so I can better work with you. I'd love to know your goal. And let's just kind of get a game plan on how we could work together, because I'd really love to see you get that $100 bonus and get a team, and at best get your products paid for. That's a start. Sometimes you don't want to just always have a conversation like, let's get you to gold or let's get you to Hawaii next year. Let's just get you seeing that other part of our, 11 ways. So, the $100 bonus, and start to get points each month, not just commissions back on your product if you're over 100, things like that. So it really just starts with being intentional and just sharing, I know you want this. Now, based on your why, let's figure out a game plan. How much time are you willing to spend daily on your business? You can get pretty far and get that silver with less time, I think, than you think. It's just all about being intentional. Do you have your list of 64? Let's really, I'd love to partner with you. I'd love to link arms with you and really help you to get to that next step of your business. It's just having those conversations and really speaking from your heart. I think if I tried to motivate people all day, I would get exhausted. People have to find their own motivation, but we can plant that seed and start, depending on what rank you are, start doing like a book study on, personal growth. Like we tend, when we do our book studies, we'll do like one on personal growth, and then the next one will be on network marketing. Like we kind of stagger them, but just kind of, are you willing to immerse yourself a little bit more in this business to start getting a paycheck every Friday, every month, really starting to change the financial picture for your family? I'd love to partner with you and help you to do that. So is that helpful? I don't really have a set script, if that makes sense. It really just depends on the person, but getting to know their why, their goal. What are they willing to do per week? Are they willing to be coached by me? Are they willing to play ball? Because I got to see their feet moving, not just their mouth, and let them know that. Just say playing ball means, I say, okay, reach out to 10 people this week that are on your list of 64, and you get back to me on Friday and say you did. That's how we play ball. If I don't hear from you, I'll check in, but I'm not going to keep bugging you, because I've got 20, and maybe you don't, but in your mind, there's 20 other people over here that would love to. That's where we got to start thinking big and not thinking, well, if I could just get this one person to do this. You got to work with more people.
Thank you. And then I think Christy wants to know, like if you're leading with the business, since you did join for the business rather than leading with the products, like what's something you would say to lead with the business?
Just say, I would love to just have 20 minutes of your time and share with you this like incredible opportunity. Our comp plan is off the chain. We're paid 11 ways. And the reason it works so well is because we actually have a product that is in demand by the masses with a 60-day money-back guarantee, and it's a $34.95 join-up. So what I can share with you are just ways that you can work in the nooks and crannies of your life to actually build up a pretty substantial residual income. Is there any reason why we couldn't just have a 20-minute chat and I could share with you about this incredible Plexus opportunity? I'll give you a 3-day trial, give you a 7-day trial, whatever you have on hand. I'll give you a stick of Slim. I don't care if you can't afford 3. I'll buy you lunch, something.
Yeah.
But your posture, your confidence is not like, I'm in a contest and I was wondering if you would get with me for like 20 minutes. Like, you got to be like, girl. I was just talking to Roz Payne this morning. Huh?
I said, you're missing out. Like, you need to do this. That's what I'm like.
Exactly. Girl, like, we got to talk.
Uh-huh.
Or guy. Dude, you. Hey, you. I was talking to Roz Payne this morning, and she was like sharing about Joyome and how like she for 3 or 4 years kind of pursued this person. Like every now and then she'd just be like, we got to talk about this Plexus thing. And the girl would just never, Well, she puts up a whole Joyome thing that says, I need 2 testers for a 30-day trial. Who wants to be a tester? That girl like immediately raised her hand. So she tried for just talking about the business, but that Joyome is a way to get in. So that's a good, if you guys are like hitting some walls with people, start using Joyome. But it's always worked for me. Like, does everybody join? No. But I just like, you got to hear about this. And if it's not for you, I need to know your friends. I need you to share. I need you, there's something really good in for you if you can bring me a few people after I share this information, because everybody knows somebody who needs to make extra money or is looking to work at home or needs, these products. And then once they work, you realize, oh my gosh, how many people do I know that, are losing hope, have lost hope? I mean, here's what I want to just share. It's not that hard. It's up here where we make it hard. We get tripped up with what are people going to think? I can't even begin to describe how frustrating it is when I see someone with potential. Overthink. What if? Well, turn all that into, what if I don't? What is my plan B? So that was for me. I had to make Plexus work. I got excited pretty quickly because I realized this is the ticket to get my husband home. This is the ticket for our family to have peace, financial peace that we've never, ever had, ever. Y'all, I just dropped my 18-year-old in college last week in Indiana University. You don't even want to know how expensive that college is. We can pay cash. And I don't say that to brag. I want you to tap into what is your driver. And I want that to be the thing that stops you every time you start to doubt yourself, that you start to have a negative thought, that you start to think, what will they think? Who cares? What people think of you is none of your business. It doesn't matter. They're going to judge you. They're going to think bad, no matter if you quit, if you fly. It's up to you. This is your baby. If you've ever been to my training, I did the goals and senior goals last year at convention. I did the rubies and senior. I'm like, sorry, you're going to hear it again. But if it is to be, it's up to me. In every single way, you're blessed to have amazing jewels in your upline. Praise the Lord. They're driven. They give you programs, systems. I just stole all of Kristen's online thing and her idea last last month. We had like 20 people. I think we had like 18, 19 people. So we drew for 2 of those Fab Fun boxes. Stole the idea from her. You have everything going for you. It's just what's up here. What if I've said anything today on this call that made you think, write it down. Start really figuring out what is stopping you. Is it maybe your spouse isn't supportive, or you're in your mind, you're just too busy and you don't know how? Well, get up an hour early. For every reason you say it can't be done, there's somebody out there with the same set of circumstances, possibly even more circumstances than you, negative, going against you, that's doing it anyway. Just remember that. It's, successful people don't have this clear path and everybody's supportive and all this time just falls into their lap. They find a way, they make a way, and most importantly, they tell themselves daily, I'm worthy, I deserve this, I'm doing this, it's happening, I'm awesome, why not me? Are you filling your mind with those thoughts? Or is it like, this is hard, or it was summer, I don't know, I have a hangnail? I've heard it all. So just know that, y'all. Like, there is no reason you can't get on that cruise. You can't just start really messaging people intentionally, like living to your potential, playing full out. Your posture, every day you get up, are you grateful you get to do Plexus, or do I have to call people? I have to message people. All that stuff, it's a red flag. How are you thinking about it? What are you thinking about? Because that is going to reflect in your actions, and your actions are your habits, and your habits creates your destiny, right? So you got to figure it all out here first, and then the rest will happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know if you work on it every single day and you get better and better and better every day, and you don't quit, you put your blinders on, you stop comparing, you keep sharing, you don't overthink, you can't not make this happen for you and your family, and you deserve it. You're not put in this position to be fighting against negativity. You're put in this position to fly and be great. So just embrace that. It's so much funner. It's so much freeing to just embrace all the good than to fight all the negativity. So have your nose in a book. Stay plugged in and just start doing those, checkups from the neck ups daily. And just, Helen said, you can just use me. You can be mad at me some days. And just go, that Helen's in my head.
I love that. So this will be our last question. And Brianna wants to know, how do you get someone to feel ready to start this business?
How to feel ready? Well, make them feel uncomfortable. Find, that's going back into tapping into their why. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So here's a business where you can actually get a paycheck next Friday. Like your actions today could give you a paycheck next Friday. Today's Wednesday. In 9 days, you could have a paycheck. So what do you need from this business? Do you need money? Do you need personal growth? Do you need to get healthier? Do you need confidence? Do you need to get better at public speaking? Do you need to get more positive in your life? Do you need new friends? There's endless things that Plexus can offer. So just find out what they're ready to do in their life. Like what if, we sometimes just get so sick and tired of being sick and tired. We got to hit a rock bottom. So what's your rock bottom? What can you share with me? Some things in your life you'd love to change. Okay, Plexus can help that. Because, right? Pretty much everything we offer can help just about anything. So be a possibility thinker when you're talking to people. And, pour into them to fill a need, and they'll find their readiness, if that helps.
That's awesome. Thank you. And you really, you inspire me. And now I want to go back and message all those people who I need to follow up with, right now. I want to do it. So.
Good. Where's Amanda? I just now see you. Hey, girl.
So thank you so much. I know we went a little bit over, so thank you for everyone for hanging on. And I will have this recording up. I'm going to stop the recording.